So in this lecture, we are going to discuss about laws related to industrial safety. So when I say laws, it can be government regulations or guidelines fixed by the government bodies. Okay, so we are going to list out some important laws that are related to industrial safety, such as laws related to working hours, condition of services, and employment. So these are the some laws which is related to some criteria. Okay, criteria or aspects of industries. So we can say number one, Factories Act 1948 is one of the most important act related to construction, also in any industry. Okay, and the Dock Workers Act 1948, Plantation Labor Act 1951, Mines Act 1952, Motor Transport Workers Act 1961, and the Building and Other Construction Workers Act 1996. So this is also one of the important act regulations laws related to construction, and the Contract Labor Act 1970. So these are some laws related to equality and empowerment of women. So Maternity Benefit Act, Equal Remuneration Act, laws related to equality and empowerment of children. So there is also some provision for children who are working in the construction site. In those days, in a construction site, you can see some small children used to work in a site projects. Okay, so it is not allowed to have a child labor in a construction projects. Okay, there is an act like Child Labor Act. Okay, Prohibition and Regulation of Child Labor Act. So in 1986, Bonded Labor System Act. So 1976. So laws related to social security, that is Workmen's Compensation Act 1923, Employees State Insurance Act 1948, Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1952. Also we have Gratuity Act 1972. So we'll see any two or three important act laws, what actually given in the law, what are the provisions we need to go through. So some of the Indian standards applicable to construction site, that is, so we have already discussed PPE, right? So in the PPE we have told what each devices are accessories. So for each accessories there is a IS standard, okay, Indian standard. So these are the some Indian standards applicable for PPEs, personal protective equipment. So you can go through the different Indian standards. That is for head, they given industrial safety helmet specification for industrial safety helmet. For eye and face, they are given eye protectors for the face protection during the welding. IS 7524 1980 for non-optical test eye protectors. IS 85921, that is industrial safety face shield. So these are some standards you can go through, to check how their standards have been given, and they will be discussed about the how we should wear and what we shouldn't do while using this kind of safety devices. Even for hand and body, they given the highest standards. So you can see for body there are different safety standards. That is safety belts and harnesses, aprons, and alkali resistant. They given some specification for that. Whenever there are people involved in chemical factory or chemical industry, they used to wear some apron, right? So they are given some specification for high visibility clothing during the night time. Okay, so people whenever they work under night time, they used to wear some high visibility clothing. So we have some guidelines for that too. So Factories Act. So we'll see this in detail. This is an act to consolidate and amend the law regulating labors in factories. So it is comes into the force of first day of April 1949. Okay, the legislation for labor welfare known as Factories Act, okay, which is enacted with the prime objective of protecting the workmen employed in factories against industrial and occupational hazard. So you can see that workmen whoever is employed in the workplace, that is factories, we need to protect them against occupational hazard and industrial hazard. Okay, that is the main objective of bringing this factory act. Okay. With that intent, it imposes upon owners and occupiers certain obligations to protect unwary as well as negligent workers to secure employment for them which is conducive and safe. The Act's objective is to protect human beings from being subjected to unduly long hours of bodily strain and manual labor. So it also have some other objective like we need to prevent them from working long hours, okay, in a site or in an industry. So it also provides employees should work in a healthy and sanitary conditions as far as manufacturing process allow, and the precautions to be taken for the safety and prevention of accidents. So you need to provide some safety devices to prevent accidents for the accidents in the workplace. And in order to ensure that objectives are carried out, local governments are empowered to appoint inspectors, call for returns, and ensure that prestate registers are duly maintained. So this act also says that you have to appoint some inspector, safety officers to inspect the site. Okay. The act provides for the safety, health, welfare, and other aspects of occupational health and safety for the workers in factories. It is enforced by the state government through the factory inspectors. So it also empowers the state governments to frame rules for the local conditions prevailing in the state are appropriately reflected in the enforcement. To make punishments provided in the act more stricter and the opportunities are taken advantages to make certain that other amendments are found necessary in the implementation of act. So we need to also involve state government so that we can frame their own guidelines, okay, in order to enforce that with proper punishment. Okay, whenever the time comes we can also amend, okay, we can make some updations in the guidelines. Okay, so there are another important act related to construction safety, that is workman's compensation act. This is an act that provides for a payment of compensation for injury by accident by certain classes of employees to their workmen. So objective is to make the provision for the payment of compensation to the workman only. Okay, to the concerned employee himself in case of surviving the injury in question, the dependents that in case of death. So an additional advantages of this kind of laws is that by increasing the importance of adequate safety device, it reduces the number of accidents that workmen have in manner that cannot be achieved by official inspection. Further, the encouragement given to employees to provide adequate medical treatment for their workmen should mitigate the effect of those accidents which occur very often. Okay. And the benefit is so conferred on the workmen that added to increased sense of security which they will enjoy should render industrial life more attractive and increase the available supply of labor. So whenever you provide such benefits to the workman, they will voluntarily come and do their work. So whenever you don't provide such safety provisions or such payment to the workmen whenever they face accidents, they won't come and enjoy the work. Okay, they need to enjoy the work and render some they have to be more happy state of mind so that you have continuous supply of labor in the industry. Okay, so this act also provides cheap and quicker disposal of disputes related to compensation through special tribunals are possible under civil law. We can also make sure that disputes are being solved in the law. The passage of time has widened the court's approach, and their approach has become more liberal and leaning towards the